Jesus wants to speak, so I'm going to speak with Jesus. Come, divine will, come speak in my speaking. So I'm just going to quote from one of Louisa's diaries, volume 12. This is from April the 12th, 1918. And the quote is, it's headline, "The soul must lean within Jesus." It says, finding myself in my usual state, I felt an extreme need of Jesus and of leaning all of myself within him. And my sweet Jesus came and told me, my daughter, lean yourself completely within me. You will find me always ready. You will never lack me. Even more, the more you lean within me, the more I will pour myself within you, into you. And since many times I feel the need to lean, I will come to you and I will lean within you, using my own support, which I have formed in you. And when I see that you despise the support of creatures, I will love you twice as much, and I will redouble my support. Then he added, when the soul does everything to please me, to love me, and to live at the expense of my will, she becomes like a member of my body, and I glory in these members if they were my own. Otherwise, they would be like members disassociated from me, which give me pain, and not only to me, but to themselves and to their neighbour. These are members which spurt a purulent material, such as to infect and to dry up even the good that they do. So, we have to be united to Christ, and we have to lean on him. So, I now want to go to the Song of Songs, chapter 8, verse 5. This is for you desert dwellers, for all those of you who have got a little desert going on in your interior life. Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? We head out into the wilderness by our own efforts. God calls us. God seduces us. The prophet Hosea says in chapter 2, I think it is, you seduced me and led me into the wilderness where you spoke to me. The book of Numbers, in its original Hebrew language, is the book of Bamidbar. It's called Bamidbar, which is the first few lines. In the wilderness, God spoke. So we walk into the wilderness like the Israelites did by our own efforts. But God doesn't want us to come out of the wilderness in the same way. He wants to come out of the wilderness leaning on him. And what he does is, as we're in the wilderness, Jesus forms within our soul his own support for himself, because we can't hold up the Son of God. So he has to form in us his own support for himself. And he says to Louisa that when he's formed that support, he can then lean on us. We see signs of this when we're doing things like the Hours of the Passion. When we're meditating upon the agony in the garden, we comfort him because we're doing it with his will. So we're giving him that extra comfort that saints of previous eras couldn't give him because they couldn't do it with his will. So he has formed something within us, which is loving him, supporting him, comforting him, causing him to lean on us as we lean on him. So when we say, who is that coming up from the wilderness leaning upon her beloved? That needs to be us. When we're in our wilderness, Jesus will not let us leave that wilderness until we are completely abandoned to him, leaning upon him and trusting in him. Then the soul will be purified sufficiently and the ego will be purified and dismantled so that we can trust in Jesus for absolutely everything. And we no longer go chasing around seeking things for ourselves. We recognize that he takes care of everything. Who is this coming up from the wilderness leaning on her beloved? It's you. Fiat voluntas tua.